Darius Oliver, and you're listening to 92.1 KXVS, the voice of Stockton.
This broadcast will start in 60 seconds. This broadcast will start in 45 seconds. This broadcast will start in 30 seconds. This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, The Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Hello and welcome to True Talk with Christina. Today's show is going to be quite different as we launch True Talk with Christina into a slightly different direction. I'm going to read my legal and compliance disclaimer, and then I'm going to share about the new focus of the show. I, Christina Kimball, am a branch manager for Edge Home Finance Corporation, which is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS number 891464, and my personal NMLS 1484144. We support equal housing opportunity. You can find us online at www.edgehomefinancecv.com, and that's CV for Central Valley. I'm a licensed professional real estate agent and grow leadership development at Volant Real Estate, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate. My license number is 019-12461. You can visit our real estate website at www.volantrealestate.com, and that's Volant, V as in Victor, O-L-A-N-T. I am also an executive director and certified coach, trainer, and speaker with the John Maxwell team, where we believe that leadership is influence and the first person you lead is yourself. You can learn more about leadership and professional development on my website at www.christinakimblespeaks.com. Almost forgot the .com. So what is truth? This is True Talk with Christina. But what is true or truth? I looked it up on dictionary.com so that I could have an accurate definition for you, not just one that I'm making up. But truth. Here are some of the definitions. The true or actual state of a matter. A verified or indisputable fact, proposition, principle, or the like. An obvious or accepted fact. This one really jumped out at me. The next one. Honesty, integrity. Agreement with a standard or original. And I think that seeing honesty and integrity there, it's jumped out at me because I think in this day and age, I feel like I'm sounding really old right now, but we don't always see a lot of integrity. And what is integrity? Integrity is when your words and your actions line up with the values that you say you have. It's true. It's not fake. It's not false. It's not someone pretending. It's not a hypocrite. Integrity is doing what you say you're going to do. Your actions follow up your beliefs. So that's a little bit outside of True Talk with Christina and the focus of the show, the purpose of the show. However, I just wanted to shed a little light on that because it really did jump out at me. I know when I'm looking to hire for my companies, whether it's a loan officer or a real estate agent, I'm looking for a person of integrity, somebody who's honest, someone who's real, someone whose values match up to my companies and the culture that we are looking to create therein. So it's true. We're looking for someone who's a true match. That almost sounds like a dating website, True Match. And it's not just Match.com, but maybe someone should make one, TrueMatch.com. But anyway, I digress. So what I wanted to share about today is a new focus. I mean, it's always been True Talk with Christina. It's based on the truth. Dispelling myths. Specifically, I was focusing on real estate and mortgage, the industries, and finances. But I talked with our station manager, and I wanted to go a little broader with this, with the truth. I didn't want to confine myself just to mortgage, real estate, and finance. Although those are very important topics, there were things that were coming up throughout the week that I wanted to share on the show, that I wanted to address on the show. And I didn't talk with him. Some time went by, but it was still something always in the back of my mind. I want to expand this. I want to go a little bit further. I want to go broader. And so it came up a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him about it, and he said, "It's your show, Christina. It's you." So awesome. So we are expanding True Talk with Christina. And so I have a few notes here. Probably not going to go the whole length of the showtime today because I'm going to speak from my heart. I have some notes I want to go over. I have some stories that I want to share that relate to the truth. And through these stories, it'll give you a good idea of the direction True Talk with Christina is going in. It's truth coming from my heart, truth coming from what I see, and bringing that truth to light on the show. So one of the things that stands out to me is what you don't know and how it impacts your decisions and the choices you make. What you do know and how that impacts the choices, the decisions, the direction, the things that you choose to do in your life. It's based on what you know. But is it the full truth? Is what you know the best thing that's going to get you to where you want to be? Do you know where you want to be? Perhaps you feel confined to a box, but you're actually meant to live outside of that box, outside of those invisible confines, those restrictions, those borders, things that you don't literally see, but maybe sometimes you do, but they're affecting the choices that you make. So I want to talk about 5 strategic avenues through which the truth impacts your results in life and everything you do. And I'm going to share some stories that will hopefully illustrate these points and make them a little more understandable and relatable. So the first thing is discovering what you don't know. Last night or yesterday, I went to Home Depot and I purchased some mulch. I purchased some protective ground covering. I don't know what the actual name for that. I'm not really that handy of a person. You don't see me working in my yard all the time, but there are these areas in the front on each side of the driveway that kind of have been driving me nuts. The weeds keep popping up. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't go with the look we're going for or that our HOA wants us to go for in our neighborhood. So I bought these things during the day or in the morning, and I was super excited. My husband was going to help his son move, and I figured I'll just stay home and, nobody asked for my help anyway. And really, how strong am I compared to my husband? But so I was going to work in the front yard and work on these areas, get rid of some weeds, put down that protective layer, this fabric, and then put the mulch on top. It was going to look fantastic. So my husband there were some things that happened and his son wasn't moving. So he stayed home. So we both worked in the front yard. So we had the hoe out there. We're digging up the weeds. We're pulling things up. It's looking nice. And he said, well, maybe we should just stop at this point after we finish doing the weeds. I said, no, I had showed him that I bought the protective fabric. I said, I want to get this down so that we can make it look good. And he said, well, it's going to get windy. It's just going to get blown up. And I'm like, why is he saying that? It's not going to go anywhere. It was going to have the mulch on top. But as we're working, he kept saying that. And I asked him, I said, why do you have this aversion to getting the protective layer down? And he said, it's just going to fly away. And I realized he didn't know that I had bought 8 bags of mulch to put on top of that protective layer. I had only shown him the protective material, the fabric. I didn't show him the mulch that I had purchased. So he was probably getting frustrated with me. He didn't show it because he's very patient. But he was probably getting frustrated with me, thinking, why does she keep wanting to put this fabric down when it's just going to fly away? Which obviously it would if there was no mulch on top to hold it down. So he was making a decision based on what he knew that wasn't the whole truth. It wasn't the whole reality. It wasn't, and what was the thing? The definition of truth, the true or actual state of a matter. He didn't know the actual state of the matter, the situation, which was I had mulch to go on top of it. So the first strategic avenue that the way truth works in our life is discovering what you don't know. When you're in a situation or you have to make a decision or you're dealing with somebody and maybe you're getting frustrated, you stop and ask yourself, what is it that I don't know? He didn't do that. I mean, he didn't think of it. We're working in the yard. Big deal. It's not, life-changing decisions here. But when you think about it, you stop and pause. What is it that I don't know? And maybe it's something you literally don't know and you have no clue. But that's where you go to somebody else who does know. You seek that outside information. So that's the first one. Discover what you don't know. And that's what we're going to be talking about on True Talk with Christina going forward. Second one, there's also false knowledge, and it can work against us. So we have a dog. His name is Shaka, and he's a mini Australian Shepherd. Cute little dog, and he loves to chase the ball. I mean, he goes crazy about chasing a ball. And in the house we lived in before, there was a corner. It was all tiled downstairs, and we'd throw the ball, which he loves it, right? He could do that all day, and he'd be completely happy chasing the ball and eating food, of course. So when there's this one corner in the house, when we would throw the ball around that corner, he would get to the corner, and then he would freeze. He would freeze in fear. There was nothing around the corner. There was no danger around the corner. It was the strangest thing. And I think it had to do with maybe he slipped once when he went around the corner. But that one incident stopped him from getting the ball. His fear stopped him from getting what he wanted most. His lack of knowledge, really, it was false knowledge. In his mind, if I go that way, something bad's going to happen. Okay, well, that's like failing once. That doesn't mean you're going to fail every single time you try to do something. So this false knowledge that he had was keeping him from getting that ball and bringing it back so it could be thrown again and he could have fun over and over. So false knowledge, what he thought he knew, kept him from getting what he wanted. So that's the second strategic avenue. It's not a good one because it stopped us. And I've heard this acronym for fear, that it stands for false evidence appearing real. Maybe you've heard that before. False evidence appearing real. Fear. There was nothing in front of him to stop him, yet he froze. And sometimes we need a little encouragement, a little coaching to get beyond that fear to get what we want. It's true. It's not true. It's nothing there. It's something fake stopping us. So that's the second one. Third is taking advantage, not in a bad way, but utilizing the strengths of others, getting other people around us who have a different perspective. They have different strengths in their personality, for example. So with my personality, one part of that, in some situations, I don't always look at all the little details. I look at the big picture, make a decision, boom, move forward. In other instances, I'm extremely detail oriented, a little too much. So I kind of go both ways there. So I'm on the leadership team for Family Promise of San Joaquin County. And was it last week? I think it was last week. I met with another member of the leadership team, and we were talking about how we were going to move the organization forward. And the person I was meeting with, his name is Bill. And Bill, he was saying something about the details. And it was a specific structure for the different teams that we needed to make sure we had in place. These specific minute details that he had dug into, I didn't see when I was looking at the information. I was reading through it quickly, and I just wanted, like, okay, what do we need to do next? That was kind of my position. But here I surrounded myself with someone else who had strengths in this particular situation that they weren't necessarily my strengths. So his strength covered my weakness. His strength covered my area of challenge, so that together we can accomplish something great. Together we can accomplish something phenomenal. So I see True Talk with Christina as your partner in taking advantage of the strength. Not taking advantage, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but utilizing, it's not ignoring. This isn't coming out right. You're focusing on the strength of others. You're opening up your life to someone who has a strength or experience that you haven't had, and to help you get a better result. I think that sounds better, doesn't it? So that's the third thing, is using the strengths of others in an area where you may not be strong, or it could be just you don't know, right? Like their first story, discovering what you don't know. These all work together. So the strengths of others, taking advantage of those in a good way. So the first one is discovering what you don't know. The second one is false knowledge, and being aware of that, right? Third, the strengths of others, leaning on the strengths of others to get to the truth and to get the result you want. And the fourth one is awareness, raising your awareness. Our decisions do not just affect us. Our decisions have a greater, it's a ripple effect, right? Like a drop in the water or the delta. If you throw a rock into the delta, you're going to see ripples. When I look out onto the water, when I'm fishing, I'm looking for movement. I'm looking to try to figure out where are the fish. And when I see some movement and there's a ripple, and sometimes you can tell that there's something moving under that water. There's something moving, and you can tell what direction it's going because these ripples are going out. There's a wave in the water. There's a movement because of what the fish is doing underneath. There are repercussions on top of the water. I see the movement. I remember the first time I went snorkeling in Hawaii, and that was an amazing experience. I was super scared. I don't really know how to swim that well. I'm getting better at it now, but I need to be in a protective environment. But somehow when I get under the water, it's an amazing thing. Once I get past the fear that I have of being underwater, there's this incredible peace that comes over me, and I just float. And it's just this incredible, amazing, I don't want to say supernatural, but almost like a supernatural experience. It's just beyond what I would normally be comfortable for me. And when I'm under there, I stop focusing on myself, and I'm looking at the world that exists below the water. I see the reefs. you see the fish and these bright colored fish. Some are not so bright. Some almost kind of blend in. You see these fish go by that you can see through them. They're like translucent. So it's just incredible. And it's like you're in another world. And then you'll look at coral. Some will be bright colored, but some will be dim. They lost their life. Their light. I was going to say light, but technically it's dead because people have touched the coral. The color's gone. The life is gone. The amazement's gone. And it still looks interesting, but not like it did when it was fully alive. But somebody made a decision to touch that coral. Somebody made a decision that had ripple effects. So that's the fourth one, is awareness that your choices impact more than just you. It goes beyond you. And fifth, professional guidance based on facts and experience can save you time. They can help you get to where you want to go or help you make a decision on something. Maybe it's something you're voting on. Maybe you're deciding what school to go to, what team to play for, what sport to take on. Maybe you're trying to decide how to invest your money. Should I buy now? Should I buy a home now? Should I sell my home now? What type of mortgage is right for me? If you take the time and you're really trying to figure these things out, it can take hours upon hours. It could be days, weeks, months, years. But when you talk to someone who's already gone through it, someone who has the knowledge you need, that professional guidance that's based on facts and experiences, it can make a difference. My husband was driving out to his sister's house in the Bay Area the other night. And there's this one way we go almost pretty much every single time to get there. He knows it like the back of his hand. It's night. He doesn't necessarily see as well as at night. So it would have been wise to go that direction that he knew. But he didn't. And he tried to go another way. He did not use the navigation on his phone. And it's hard for him. Sometimes it doesn't, the audio isn't there. So he's trying to drive. He's trying to go this different direction. The navigation isn't working right. He gets frustrated. He gets not lost so much because he knew where he was, but he didn't know how to get back where he needed to go, which was on the right path to get to his sister's. So he didn't take the common route. And it took a lot longer to get to his destination because he didn't use the navigation. He ended up going this long route. And I think of the story in the Bible when the children of Israel were trying to get to the promised land. It took decades when it should have only taken a couple of weeks. It took decades. So that's the fifth thing, professional guidance based on facts and experience. So all of these together, it sums up the new focus for True Talk with Christina. It's the truth based on facts, based on experience. We go back to the definitions: an obvious or accepted fact, a verified or indisputable fact, proposition, principle, or the like. The true or actual state of a matter. So that it will help you discover what you don't know, that it will help you raise your awareness of situations, of choices, of what's going on in our community, in our minds. You can take advantage of the strength of others, learn from others, let them fill in and raise your awareness, get the knowledge you need to make the best decisions that you can. The professional, I'm like, oh, I lost my place. The professional guidance based on facts and experiences. And then let's get rid of that false knowledge. We don't want to go down that route when we're making choices in life. We want the truth. We want true talk. We want decisions that are going to get us where we want to go. So that's not real specific as far as what are you going to talk about, Christina? You just talked about the truth. Well, that's the foundation, is the truth, right? But we're going to talk about things like, what's the truth about how to invest my money? What's the truth about money management? We just talk about money here for a minute. What is it that I don't know that can help me buy that house when I'm ready to? Because there are things, we talk to clients all the time at our branch. They're like, well, I did this, this, and this. Okay, but that was the false knowledge that you had. It wasn't the professional knowledge. So now we've got to undo some of these things. We've got to backtrack. We've got to take a couple steps back and make some different choices to really help your credit or to establish your credit. Roxana, one of the loan officers that works with me, she's been working with a client for about a year to take the right actions. What's true to help improve his credit to be able to buy a home. And guess what? He's in escrow now on the purchase of a home because he took steps. The actions he took were based on, get what? They were based on what? Truth. Yes, they were based on truth. So I want to help you get where you want to be. I want to help you even when it comes to, issues that are going on in the city, in the county, in the state. What is the truth? How can you make the best decision on these things? Take the best stand for you. And here's the other thing. My truth may not be your truth on some situations because it is based on what you believe. One of the things that stood out to me also on the definition of truth is an obvious or accepted fact, because sometimes facts aren't accepted. So that doesn't mean we're all going to have the exact same opinion on every single thing, but we can hear the truth, we can hear the information, and we can decide what is the accepted truth for me. Because I was born into a situation of poverty, does that mean I'm stuck there? And some people do. I remember talking to one of my clients. This was probably 12 years ago, and when I was consulting with business owners to help them with their marketing and growing their business. And he was from back east, and he was telling me about this particular area that he was from. And it was a disadvantaged area, and most people, when they grew up there, they never left. And when he tried to do something different, they made fun of him. They mocked him. And I thought, well, what made them think that they couldn't do something different? What made them think that they couldn't move and get a different type of job, create something different, change the family tree, their legacy that they leave? What made them feel that they were stuck there in this box that they had defined for themselves, that this is just the way life is? Didn't they see TV? Didn't they watch the news? Didn't they see stories about people whose lives were different? And he said, yeah, but that's TV to them. Even if it was news, it could have been a documentary or anything. But for them, it was TV. It wasn't real. So they had a false knowledge of what was possible in their lives based on this little circle that they were in, this community that they were in. And if somebody tried to leave that, they made fun of them and they thought, what a joke. What are you trying to do? This is our life. This is it. So True Talk with Christina, we want to expand that. We want to bring the truth. Not that it's something on TV, not that it's something in a live stream, not that it's something you heard somebody talking about that doesn't apply to you. You were meant for something greater. And it doesn't mean that you're not doing fantastic right now, that you're not doing great right now. Is there more? Is there more that you could be? Possibly. Let's expand the circle, expand the box. So that's True Talk with Christina. What is the truth that's going to help me get to where I want to go? We've done the shows that we've talked about buying a home. We've talked about budgeting and cash flow management. We've talked about these different things. We've talked about different loan programs. We've talked about how to prepare yourself to buy a home. What does it really take? What are the steps? But if we don't go back to before that, if we don't start talking about ways of thinking, ways of looking at things, these avenues for truth and how they impact your decisions, then maybe all those things we've already shared, they don't matter to you because you're like, that's not for me. What is for you? So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to cover a lot of different things, a lot of different areas. And some of it, like I shared in the beginning about my my certification with the John Maxwell team, is leadership is influence. And the first person you ever lead is yourself. You are a leader. And maybe nobody's ever told you that before. You are a leader. You're a leader of yourself. And just like those ripple effects that I was talking about, when the fish is underwater and those waves are going out, everything you do does not just affect you. You are influencing someone else. You're influencing a situation. If leadership is influence, then you are a leader. And I want to encourage you to embrace that, not only for yourselves, because we can always grow, but we can choose not to. We can choose to stay in that box. We can choose to not worry about, what do I don't know? I know everything I need to know. Or we can expand and look to grow and look for, what is it that I don't know? What strength does this person have that they can add to my life? What knowledge, what's the topic going to be on True Talk with Christina today? And how can that help me be a better person? How will that help me make a better decision? And maybe it's not a better decision. Maybe you've made the best decision that you could make. It's having that knowledge to confirm that what you're doing is right, or to redirect. We're going to navigate over this way now because this over here is not the path I wanted to go down. True Talk with Christina. That's the new focus. I still am going to end each show with our national holidays. Some of them are fun. Some of them are funny. Some of them are educational and enlightening. And so I'm going to share some of those right now. But again, a real quick recap. What is truth? 5 strategic avenues through which truth impacts your results. I'm going to try not to get tongue-tied when I'm saying this. 1, discover what you don't know. 2, false knowledge can impact our decision. It does impact our decisions. Leaning on the strengths of others. Raising our awareness and how our decisions have ripple effects. And 5, professional guidance based on facts and experience. That saves us a lot of time. So True Talk with Christina, we have a new focus going forward. We're expanding, and we're going to start with some basics and have some people come in who can share the truth, what they've learned. And also, we're probably will be tackling some controversial topics locally, nationally, and just talk about the truth and how that can help us make better decisions in everything that we do. So with that, we're going to segue into our national holidays for today, September 11th, 2018. The first one, of course, I think it's one of the biggest ones, is that today is Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance. And I think most of us probably remember how this got started. And it's from September 11th, 2001. It's a day where we remember the nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. When the United States was attacked by terrorists. I was a police officer at the time. I was a police officer with UC Davis. And I remember I worked graveyard the night before, so I was asleep when this happened. And my sister, I'll never forget, she called me and she's like, "We're under attack." And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're under attack. I'm like wiping my eyes, trying to wake up because I had not been asleep very long when she called me. And it's to me, it's a sobering day. That was probably one of the biggest things that I've lived through in my life. And it was different as a citizen going through something like that and being a police officer. I didn't know, were we going to get called to go across the country to be able to help, to be able to be there and support. We didn't. But it was a tragic day, but it was also a day of strength. It was a day when citizens of the United States of America came together in unity. And when we do that, when we come together, we can accomplish incredible things. Come together to pick up the pieces when things have fallen apart. And right now, we're not necessarily experiencing a lot of unity in our country. But imagine if we did. Imagine if we changed our focus. Imagine if we looked at what is it that we don't know. There is a lot of controversy right now with Nike and Colin Kaepernick. People in agreement, people burning items. But what if we came together? What could we accomplish? What could we change? That is when change happens. It's through unity, coming together to get the result that we're looking for. We want more civil rights. It's going to require unity. We want to change in what's happening with our homeless population in our city, in our region, in our country. We've got to come together. And on September 11th, after that, we came together. I remember 1 year later, on the first anniversary of September 11th, I had the honor of speaking at the UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento at a remembrance ceremony. And I was so honored. There was so much pride I had in our country. And I still do. We live in an amazing, incredible country where we can have differing opinions and we're not going to be incarcerated for it. We can stand up for what's right, and we can do it in a way that affects change. So September 11th, we have the opportunity to remember America coming together. We can remember the people who lost their lives. We can remember the heroes who rushed in when everybody else was rushing out. We remember. There's a statement here, and I believe this is from President Obama when he renamed the name from Patriot Day to adding the service and remembrance. And it says, as we join in serving causes greater than ourselves and honoring those we lost, we are reminded of the ways that the victims of 9/11 live on, in the people they loved, the lives they touched, and the courageous acts they inspired. On Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance, we pledge to carry on their legacy of courage and compassion and to move forward together as one people. That was the presidential proclamation, Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance. I should have read the other national holidays because they're not as deep as this one is. Let me share those other ones. They are National Ants on a Log Day. I thought, what in the world is that? National Ants on a Log Day? And it's taking celery and putting peanut butter on it and some raisins. Those are the ants on the log. Go figure. Apparently, it's a very popular snack. I personally have never had ants on a log. I've had the log. I've had peanut butter on celery, but I've never, not that I ever can recall, had raisins on top of them. It's also National Make Your Bed Day. I don't think that requires any explanation. And National Hot Cross Bun Day. So if you haven't had one, today is a good day to try a hot cross bun. So that is it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will join me next week True Talk with Christina is live at 1:05 p.m. every Tuesday right here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. Currently, you can watch KXVS on social media through live streams on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Like what you hear? Consider becoming a supporting member of our station. You can learn more at kxvs.org. Thanks again for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and let the truth be your guide.